a song we will be performing. Alan, what are we going to be singing?
We're going to be singing the first one of the book. We are midway. Our meeting Palm Sunday, last Sunday, and Easter Sunday coming up. So I saw might be the very first.
So we're going to sing the dedication on the inside.
No.
Amazing Julie, don't worry about this. Take care of it.
I've been my cousin recently. Give a little anecdote.
Sure. Let's go. The antidote. All for the antidote. Antidote. We want the antidote. No, antidote. Antidote.
Anecdote. The song was written by John Newton, and it's back in the 1700s. He was a captain of a slave trading vessel. He encountered a violent storm off the coast of Ireland one time, and it was a real violent time. He was feared for his life, and he pleaded the Lord to spare it. The Lord did. It was really a life-changing, a spiritual conversion experience for him. He did continue with his work as a captain of a slave trading vessel for a few years until he was really convicted in his heart that he was not people involved, that he should not continue that work. And so he did a 180-degree turn in his life and became an abolitionist. And at that point began to look at scripture and to study theology, to ultimately be ordained a priest in the Church of England, and so the Anglican Church of England. And so he was a priest at the point that he wrote this song in 1772, basically 251 years ago. It's been one of the most popular English song in English, I could say, hymn throughout the world, and probably is most widely known of any of the anthems that we would sing. And so it has been put to many different tunes. And so at that point, I'll just say that it was picked up, particularly in the first and second reawakenings in the U.S. in the 17th and 18th and 19th centuries. The spiritual revivals by Baptists and by Methodists, particularly appropriate in the Methodist situation because the Methodist Church was derived from the Church of England. In any event, it has been widely sung all over the world. And so we're going to look at it, and I have one further thing to say about it, and that is a personal anecdote. Come on in. So, 50 years ago, I was leading a evangelical mission team in Northern Ireland. That goes back a few years. And been to Ireland in that capacity twice. But it was at a time in Ireland when they were suffering what they called their times of trouble. It was the IRA, the Irish Republican Army was active, car bombs, all that kind of thing, being frisked every time we go into a store or anything of that kind. We spent one night while there in Belfast itself, and had to walk up to our room because the previous week the elevators had been bombed out. And 2 days after Senior and I had stayed in our room, our room was firebombed. But that's the kind of an environment we were working in at that point. Yeah, but our focus was on a small church outside of Belfast. And we were there for several days, living in a home. And as a leader of the team, I was expected to bring the message on Sunday morning at the local church, as well as to select the song that we used for introducing it. So we arrived there at the church. Well, before that, Senior, I looked over their hymnal and found out the first hymn in the hymnal was Amazing Grace, and we thought that would be appropriate. It was only about 10 verses long. John Newton wrote quite a few verses, and but I was familiar with the song, so I thought that was good one to get started with. And so we arrived in the church, and it's an old style church. You've seen pictures of the kind of thing where the pulpit is on high above the congregation. The only way to get to it is from the base floor where you're standing. It's up a spiral staircase, leads up to the pinnacle of prominence at the top where the pulpit is. And so I wandered up that spiral staircase, stood there looking over the congregation and saying, well, what I'm glad I'm starting with a song that I know all about here. I'm up here in plain view of everybody. Well, then you have to recognize that in hymnals in that area are printed with words only, and everybody knows the tune. So that they only print the words. They do print them because by the time you reach about the 8th and 9th verse, you need a little bit of something to look at to figure it out. But in any event, as soon as the organist hit the first two chords in the organ, I knew I was in trouble. Totally different tune. I mentioned that this song has been put in many different tunes, and so we whipped into it at a tune I was unfamiliar with. By the third verse, I was beginning to get onto it. By about the 8th and 9th verse, I had it down on the back of my hand. I knew that tune by that time. So, but it's a tune that I couldn't even repeat now. I can't even remember it. But that's the kind of a situation I was finding myself in. And so it was a tune that we are not going to use today. If you take a look at your phone book here, page 5, top song there is Amazing Grace. So we are going to sing Amazing Grace for some of these seasons right now. The first two verses here are generally found in most hymnals in churches as the first two verses of Amazing Grace as it's printed out today. The third verse, as you see there, is typically used as the last verse in most of the hymnals. And most hymnals only print about 5 or 6 verses. But we're going to sing this one today. And just keep in mind, as you sing it, John Newton. This hymn is basically a reprise of his spiritual life from the time of his conversion to the time that he wrote this hymn in 1772, about 30 years. And so this really captures his spiritual life. And so let's all join in today and sing Amazing Grace. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved from death, like me. I was lost, but now was what I loved. Was great that sincere and grace are here reading. Sin and grace are here. Yeah. I believe the last verse when we've been there 10,000 years. We sing of His grace, and when we first begun. Yes.
A flag for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands. Please join the prayer of meditation as you please, as I say, bless us food to our use, and us to thy service. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the buffet is open. Ladies and guests first, please. Yeah.
Jackie.
Hands down, with it, that. I didn't understand.
We did a-
So we get sponsored. Really? Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the program today. I would like to start with Happy Dollars. Who is happy today? Good, Bill.
I'm happy to the tune of $10.
Oh,
I will visit Jackie's.
You stay out of it, Jim. Bad enough as it is. But of course, $5 is because Bill Murphy is officially back. Let's hear it for Bill. And another 5 is because it's just a beautiful day.
yes, here, here. I'm hoping to bottle this so I can have it on April 21st when my daughter is getting married. And I'm putting $5 in just for that. So mark me down for 5, Dolores. And who else? Who else has got something good to announce? Ken.
Given $10 this Palm Sunday at Hunter's Church, we got to hear the Norfolk State Choir, and that was absolutely fantastic. And it really was something.
Colonial churches often have really good acoustics. Colonial churches often have really good acoustics.
It was an excellent, really great day.
Good.
It really
All right.
was. I really appreciate it. And they hadn't done a concert for 3 years because of COVID. It was the first time back.
Oof.
And that was really good.
Die.
Some people ask why I'm not me, but they ask what I'm doing after my retirement. I think it's listed in a federal grand jury in Norfolk. They've indicted several key criminals in a ring of high-powered women. Miss Badger. And of course, a former prosecutor, because they're all bankers, and I had a complimentary hit script for them. For you. I'm going to down the lane here to pick up our other friend who used to be in the Rotary Club. He's another bank. He's if you're a banker, lawyer, or any above. She's an accountant too. And you always say you know people. I've known her for 25 years. I didn't really know who she was.
Yeah, that's gonna cost you at least $10.
$50. No speech.
That's $50.
Hey, John.
Well,
What did he say?
$50.
$20.
That's it, you're happy. That's almost going on. It's going to $50. All right, well, girls, let's go on to announcements. April 6th is gonna be a work day, I hope.
Happy dollars.
You have happy dollars.
Yeah. Are we
Oh,
done with that?
Well then, let's hear it. All right, speak up. There's a lot of competition.
I'm $10 happy. I'm $5 because John Burtis showed up and adds real class. And secondly, Bill Baggett is here, and I've sponsored him for membership, and he's here, and should get his pin today.
Let's hear it for Bill.
All right. Bill, would you please? So as you know, this is an important little accessory here because as you may know, we find for people who don't wear, oh my goodness, we'd like you to wear that, but we want you to wear it. But we want you to wear it, especially on Tuesdays, so you don't get fined $2.
$1.
$1. Glad to have you. Welcome and wear with pride. Thank you very much. Okay, so where's Stan? Stan the man. You got a little announcement about the work day? Stan?
Thursday, everybody's coming out Thursday for the painting of the caboose. I have it at good authority that it's gonna probably rain, which is gonna knock us down somewhat, so let's make the following Thursday, which I think will be the 20th. And the reason I took that date because I have no little dots underneath the numbers on my calendar, that means I have nothing planned. So if anybody,
So will you be sending out?
all right, so, all right, I'll send out a flash or a
Okay,
email to
right.
let you know exactly when we're gonna come in, but it's gonna be the following Thursday, and it's not the 20th.
So
Are you calling off Thursday?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Are you calling off?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are officially?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's Thursday.
All right, that's fine.
They're calling for thunder. Yeah.
Okay.
We have to go reshape the paint.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, folks, so we can this Thursday, if you are, if you're interested in painting the caboose or catching someone from the ladder. Painting.
Right here.
Don't hide.
Bill Stram normally makes this announcement every year, but according to Facebook, he's in Germany now. I think he announced last week he's going to visit his daughter. But anyway, today's Giving Tuesday for the district, and if you'd like to donate to the Rotary Foundation and you give at least $100 online, you get double points. So you should have gotten an email with the details. If you didn't, let me know. But just to remind everybody about that.
Okay.
It has to be today.
Yes, although there will be another one, twice a year, there's one in the spring, one in the fall. I believe, am I correct?
I'm not sure about the fall.
Oh.
I know there's definitely.
Gotta be today, folks.
I think you made that up, Jim.
Well, let's see here. I would like to, how many people are here from the board? Raise your hand. There is a request, I'm making a request that we postpone the board meeting for 2 weeks. This coming Tuesday, Dolores and Paul will not be here. And the following Tuesday, I won't be here. So would it be all right to meet on the 25th? Is that all right? Okay.
We have a vice president.
I want to be there because we are going to be talking about the opt-in, opt-out policy. I highly recommend, I'm not going to say anything more about it because I spoke too much last week, but I will add that I have received 5 comments and 3 people are saying, just do never mind all of this arbitrary stuff, just do away with it completely. So if you're in favor of it, it's important that you talk to a board member or to me, and the board will be considering it formally in 2 weeks.
Is that on
I
the-
did that right, the 25th. So,
3 weeks from now.
sorry, 3 weeks from now, thank you. And that does it. Now, I think it's time for the Queen of Hearts. Oh, any other announcements for the good of the
Did
order?
we have, anybody didn't sign up for that May 6th, Saturday, the Derby Day? We only have about 10, 11 people, so we need to more people.
Oh,
sign
you're
up.
absolutely right. When is it? It's the
It's
30th.
May,
May
Saturday,
6th.
5 to 8, it'll be the Kentucky Derby Day.
All right.
And I'm taking that on.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, would you, if you think you're gonna be coming, would you please raise your hand? Good, good. Now, if you are,
Did you
keep
sign
your
up?
hands raised. If you have signed up, there was a sheet last week. If you've signed up, put your hand down. Whoa, we need more people. Oh, Rick, wait, 1 or 2? Straight. Okay. It's Saturday,
Two or
May
one?
6th at 5 o'clock here. I think that's right, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, 5 to 8, and the Kentucky Derby runs at 6. So we're getting there so we can have some drinks and then make our bets.
Good, sounds good. Anything?
And the social committee is meeting after this meeting.
Okay. All right. So social committee meets after this meeting. Anything, any other announcements for the good of the order? We're almost on time. So, yes. So, who's got the highest card at this table?
We don't have any high card.
I do. Yeah. Oh, you've got the ace of hearts.
Does Diamond beat?
No, I'm sorry.
Spades, only spades.
See, the hearts. Plastic.
Another challenge.
Do exercise. Please draw a card now. Keep it, yep. And Ms. Badger, would you please draw a card? And on 3, would you please disclose your card? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, another one.
Did you seriously buy again? Full card.
With 2 guys.
Amazing.
Go, anything you like. All right. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Who's got the high card? Oh, 10 and 10, but diamonds beats clubs. Oh, sorry.
Right. Wait a minute. You want, right? All right. So, the video, the pot one, the amount today collected was $60. That's a record thing. And so half of that goes to the club, half of what's left goes to you, and the other half goes into the pot, and you get to draw from the Queen of Hearts.
How much is in the pot?
Oh,
Real quick.
$110, something like that. After today, more than that. So,
Okay.
so Queen of Hearts is what you're looking for. And I checked the deck to be sure it's in there, and it is. Queen of Clubs.
There you go.
I get bigger, it gets smaller.
Okay, folks, it is time for our program. We are very fortunate enough to have Julie Badger from the Eastern Shore, the Eastern Community Foundation of the Eastern Shore, And, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Floor is yours.
Thank y'all for inviting me and fun and fun. 5 years. Thank you very much. Julie Badger, been on the shore since 1987. I've been here. Quite interesting.
Gentlemen,
Texas.
gentlemen, we have a
That's where
speaker.
I'm from. I grew up in Mount Pleasant.
I don't think it's a blank.
But it's like-
So, yeah, it was, I guess 36 years, almost 37, so I lived in that last, well, really the first little house you came to was a renting. And, it was a little different in 1987. I joked when I moved here that I went downtown to do some laundry or do something. That's when there was still a laundromat. Is there still a laundromat? No. It's just looked around. We got everything but a tumbleweed going down the street. So I've certainly had the opportunity to watch Cape Charles and the Eastern Shore grow and change. I spent 25 or some odd years in banking, as John alluded to. I am a CPA as well. I got out of banking and into philanthropy. I've done a bunch of work with nonprofits, worked at Broadwater for a little while, and just have kind of done a whole lot of different things. So I've been with the Community Foundation since late 2016, and been very interesting work. Philanthropy is a completely different world for me, but I have definitely enjoyed it. And it's very nice to be on the donor part of giving out money versus asking for money. Usually, so I'm certainly interested in that. You know how that feels. You all do a lot of fundraising for very good causes. So I'm just going to take a few minutes today and tell you a little bit about the Community Foundation, how we came about, how we got here, talk about endowments and what organizational funds are, and then our foundation directory information, and then certainly open it for any questions that you might have. There we go. Our mission is basically to inspire philanthropy and change lives. Really, subset of that is really helping our donors meet their charitable goals. Each of us at some point will face our end of life. An important planning piece of that, of course, is estate planning, and an important piece of estate planning is charitable giving. And so we all have organizations like Rotary that we're very fond of and attached to and connected to and passionate about. And it may be an opportunity within your estate to do some planning and to give to those types of organizations. So endowments are one avenue to do that. So what we do is help our donors who express an interest to meet their philanthropic goals. We help them do that. We help them set up their endowments. We help them figure out how we do annual distributions, the organizations it goes to. If they want to be involved, if they don't want to be involved in the day-to-day decisions on the organizations that receive their donations. So there's a lot, as you can imagine, a lot of different flavors and all kinds of stuff. But that's kind of where we are. The other piece of the foundation is that an offshoot of those endowments is an annual distribution that comes back to the Eastern Shore Virginia Community Foundation. That it's usually somewhere between $250,000 to $300,000 a year, and we make grants to our local nonprofits. That really is probably at least as much of how I spend my time as working with nonprofits and answering questions, accepting grant applications, and then working with the board. And Bill, of course, is one of my board members, on making the decisions on who gets grants, how much, and why. So very good. A community foundation is actually an entity that was created, say, in the 70s by the IRS. It's got some rules and regs that you have to abide by. Clearly, what we do in a nutshell is we've identified Accomack and Northampton counties as our geographic area. And what we do then is solicit endowments. And from those endowments, some of those earnings come back to the community foundation, but we can really only make grants to organizations in our defined geographic area. Hampton. So that's the good news. And as I said, unless you have the fun of giving away money to good causes without having to create a private foundation. Now, private foundations can be a great way for some folks and an interesting part of your estate planning as well. But it does take some additional bells and whistles, whereas community foundation, basically, we get the funds from our endowments, and then our board is directed to make those. We're actually an affiliate. I'm not sure if anyone is aware of the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. They do advertising on the HRO from time to time. They have ads and some of the other publications that you see and that you may occasionally run across. The nice thing about being an affiliate of them is that we take our endowment money, which is almost 16 million now. We allow them to invest that for our donors with Spider Management out of Richmond. And Spider Management, if you're not aware, handles numerous gigantic philanthropic funds such as Harvard, Yale, Princeton, University of Richmond is where it started. They've got a lot of great experience. They're very, very good at what they do. And so what we look at doing is the endowments in general throw off what they comes to the donors to spend is at 4.5% each year. Florida, Hampton Roads could change that, but historically it's been 4.5%. So where can you get 4.5% these days? So Spider then of course has to deliver a return over time. Been able to do that and grow our fund. When I started in 2016, our funds were probably around 5 to 6 million. And so we're up to 16 million. Of course, we've gotten some new funds, but there's also market growth in there and market losses, of course, last year, unfortunately. In 2005, a group of local business folks got together and they pulled about $4 million or a little bit over to add to funds that were already residing with the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. Those were all commingled. Goodly portion of that were considered unrestricted funds, and that's where most of our grant money comes from. And so from that was really the genesis of the Community Foundation. So a lot of the other organizations and endowments that have been created, some of which are organizational funds, I'll get to that in just a sec, have really, really stepped up to give us that seed money to start with. And so we've been around for 15, 16, 17, 18 years now. So we've done a lot of good, and I've got some of the numbers that we've done. We manage numerous endowments, and that generates the dollars that we are able to make grants with. So today, it's a little bit over 15 million, depending on what changes as of the end of, I have 22, excuse me. We've got about 50 different funds in our family of funds, what they call the Eastern Shore Virginia family of funds. So those are a variety of funds. Some of those were started by individuals, some were started by families, some are organizational funds. So it's a real mixed bag of different types of funds. And since 2005, we've made almost 140 grants that total over $4.25 million that went directly into nonprofits here on the shore. So I'll get into what we make grants for, but that's not an insignificant number. Very proud, very happy. Which could be more, and someday it will be. Okay. Again, Hampton Roads Community Foundation, they are the second largest in the state of Virginia, 50th largest in the nation. And again, as I mentioned, we rely on Spider Management to do our investment decisions for us based on directions from the Hampton Roads Board. Two distinct functions that we do is, again, that charitable vehicle for our donors and providing grants directly to our nonprofits for sure. Endowments really are magic. If you create an endowment or your organization does, it provides a dependable, perpetual income to a chosen cause. So that's what's really cool is that body of money. It's a minimum of $25,000 to start an endowment, but that money always stays. It's perpetual. It's never going anywhere, that body of $25,000. Certainly it's could be subject to some market changes. Spider management is there to make sure that we are doing preservation of the corpus to the greatest extent possible. And then you get 4.5% that is distributable in the next year. So it can carry on your family's name and legacy, and it will go on forever. So you have, if you're started what's called a donor advised fund, you can set up how many generations, I think up to 2, possibly 3, depending on the amount of your endowment. And you get to make those decisions if it's literally donor advised, as long as it's a legit 501c3. And what happens is that you can distribute the annual funds that are available, or you can let that roll over and let your endowment grow. So we have folks who do both or do some combination of both. And it will grow over time. We do grants, obviously, on the Eastern Shore. The Hampton Roads handles the scholarship giving. So that is also an option for our donors to create scholarship funds. Now, we don't administer those because of the complexity of scholarships and the administrative overhead. I'm part-time and I'm the only employee, so it's just me. And there's a lot going on with scholarships, so we let them handle that. They've got a whole team that does that for us. A good thing to know is that the gifts from the community foundation endowment really can make all the difference to a nonprofit's work. What we are generally granting out are not operating funds in 99% of the cases. What we want to do are fund capital projects. If you need a new roof, if you need some, HVAC or significant renovations or expansions, we will fund those. A lot of times, there's a lot of funders out there that won't do that. But we also will do programmatic grants. So if you've got a program that meets the mission of your organization, and it's generally we're looking to fund newer programs. What we don't want to do is give you a pot of money that the nonprofit then goes through, and then when that money's gone, they're like, what do we do now? We need more money. You've got to have some way, some sustainable way of fundraising or creating cash flow so that you can continue your mission. Going through this fairly quickly. If you have questions, just really shoot. Okay. The ideal donor for us is everybody. We accept, of course, endowments, which are larger. There's $25,000 minimum, which is not always reasonable for everyone to be able to play along with that. We also do solicitation of just donations, just straight donations to the community foundation. We take all of those donations, we don't use them for operations, and we roll them into our grant program as well. So generally, I'm getting anywhere between $30,000 to $50,000 a year in solicited money from our very generous donors. That kind of goes into the pot to supplement the money that's coming off of the endowments. But everyone is a potential donor, and you might think, okay, well, I haven't got $25,000 sitting in my checking account to open an endowment. What the heck is she talking about? There's a lot of ways to fund an endowment. If you're interested, it's important to talk to your tax advisor or your financial planner, but you can redirect parts of your IRA. You're at the right age. I think we all are. And you can use stocks and bonds, or you can work your way up to it. So there's a lot of ways to get to that minimum amount. And I'm not sure with the competitors, what the competitor minimums are, but most of them are not $1,000 because you just don't get the bang for that level. Somebody who meets at least one of these criteria loves the Eastern Shore, Virginia, and its people. You have a goal of giving back for a good life. You want to honor a special family member. That's always a big one, particularly for scholarships as well. Passionate about a cause or charities. You don't necessarily have living children. It happens. Dreams of doing good works and being remembered forever. So this is your shot at immortality. You can send out an endowment if you so choose. because it will live in perpetuity. You get to name it, and you get to decide where you want the earnings from that endowment to go forever, basically. This is just a few of the folks who helped us get started. Folks' father, the Tankard family, Charles Burroughs was very influential on the shore and in Norfolk, and a lot of the seed money that we started with came from the Burroughs family. Organizational funds. An organizational fund is a special type of endowment, but it exists only for nonprofit organizations. So you open an org fund with a minimum of $25,000. The earnings or the annual distributions from that endowment go directly back to your organization, and the organization can use it for anything they please. They can use it for salaries, pay a light bill. They can save it. They can leave it in the endowment. They don't have to spend it, or they can accumulate that annual distribution in a separate account and build up for other projects. So it's a nice tool to have. And what it does is it creates a reliable cash flow for an organization. We have 2 or 3 organizations now that are well up over $1 million with their org funds. 3 minutes. Taking some of our org funds, but anyway, the org funds, as they grow over time, they are actually growing off enough annual distribution to pay for operations and really be a cash flow line. It's flexible, it's lasting, do pretty much however you want to set it up, as long as it falls within the IRS code. Our grants to nonprofits must be a 501c3. The max grant amount is $50,000, and we do have a window of every 5 years. We got very popular, and people started coming back after 2 or 3 years. And it was kind of the same old, so we kind of stretched it out. We do 2 grant rounds, March and September, and it's a very easy process. You just go to our website, and there's steps that we'll just walk you through how to apply. And the Foundation Directory is an alternative listing database of funders. It's available at, I believe, all of the libraries on the Eastern Shore. The staff at the library should be trained on how to help you find that, but it's very easy. So if you are looking for emergency operations funding, you just type in emergency operations. You can put in Virginia or Virginia's Eastern Shore or just emergency operations. And this database will give you a listing of every organization that has funded that type of area. And then from there, you can take a look at their criteria, the timing, to see if it's something that the organization can benefit from. But it's very easy to use, and it's very simple. So let's see. I have Kara Barton, staff resource. Kara's not there anymore, but she is on our board, so. And again, just a trusted partner. I'm here for you. Can I answer any questions for anybody? Any ideas or anything? Birds, you have a smart act.
I hope I haven't reminded your trustworthiness here by my original comment about your indictments. I trust you with everything. You don't have anything, but I trust you with everything. It is a great group. I know a lot about it. But it's very helpful.
It is. So, our board, we have a board of 10 folks locally, and we work together to make sure that we're trying to meet the needs of the Eastern Shore. Probably try to do some strategy sessions, maybe to take a look and just make sure that what we're doing right now is truly meeting our mission and all the needs in the Eastern Shore, of which there are many. So we're certainly happy to be here and to help. I think that's pretty much it. There we go. I have business cards anyway.
Good.
Except
It was always fascinated me the tax advantages of something like this, and even if you are going to be leaving in a state age, it doesn't have to be huge, but there is often ways to use money that otherwise would have gone to taxes. And to sort of put them into a fund where you control where it's gonna go, and you can feel good about helping the community. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We made a donation to the Literacy Council this year, and so we will be putting your name on the label, and it will go to, this is a chapter book. It's intended to be the first chapter for children who are graduating from the College Park and Imagination Library program. So some 5-year-old, 5-year-old, yes, you're gonna start marketing estate options to 5-year-olds. Good. Start early. Thank you very much. Yes, start early, start strong. That's great. All right, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for a pledge? Is it the drug? Is it fair? Number 5, stand. We have one. Service, ladies and gentlemen.
No, thank you.
Hey, here, Bill. Good to have you here. Recently.
It is. It comes out.
Something we love.